is how our mentor is the first to join. Hello, welcome, Mentor Veronica. Let me accept your request.
Yeah. You are so punctual. Good evening.
Can you hear me so that I know if I
Loud and clear, yeah. But can you hear me as well?
Yes, I can. Very, very well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mentor Veronica. You are like one mentor that I can always hit up and say, please help me out. Just appear and then you just make out time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. I think we should just go right into it. I hope people join us as we go because of time. Time flies when we are having fun. So just a little introduction for those who don't know. This is the Evolve Mentorship Program page. So at Evolve Mentorship Program, we're a leadership and mentorship program for young women within the ages of 18 to 35 years. So what we do is connect these young women with outstanding female professionals like Mentor Veronica here herself, who then guide them on like a 3 month comprehensive mentorship journey. Imagine mentorship in every area, any aspect of your life. It's not restricted to just your career. Mentorship in life, mentorship in relationships. Our mentors do everything. So that is what we are on about. And this is Ask a Mentor. So basically, all our sessions are closed off to the general public. They are only open to our mentees. But on 2 times in a month like this, you have the privilege of learning from our mentors for 1 hour. So this is one of those days. Today we have our Mentor Veronica. I'll give her some time to introduce herself while we wait for other people to join before we dive right into the topic of the day. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Queen. I am very glad to be here today. My name is Veronica, and I am currently a student. I am undergoing my master's in finance, and then previously I have worked as a banker, and I have, before I started my master's, I under my BSc in and then I am a chartered accountant and all of that experiences in finance. I majorly have a finance background, so I have experiences as a banker. I've worked in the agricultural sector and oil and gas sector. After that I got the PTDF scholarship to come and undergo my master's in finance here in the UK. So that's what we're doing. But that's just all about me. I don't know exactly how specific.
I want to ask you a question. Why finance in the first place? Did you like it growing up, or it's something that you decided, bankers have money, so I want to be seeing money. How was it about it?
Me, no, finance was not on my plan at all.
Are you serious?
Yes, I wanted to go for sciences. Like I wanted to go into the science class. That was what I wanted to go for. But the
What
truth
happened?
is that I didn't have like the particular career path I wanted to go to in the sciences, because I know that I cannot become a nurse. I cannot become a
Oh, we lost audio. Okay, I can't hear you.
can you
Yeah, I can hear you now.
yeah, so there were a lot of limited career paths in the sciences that I just wanted to go to science class for the the name and all of that. But
Yes.
I eventually found myself in commercial class, but finance was not the first choice for me.
Wow. Because me, when I got to, and the thing in Nigeria is, I think that's one issue that we need to really look at in the education sector. Young people are not mentored from the early stage. They don't really know careers, like career paths. They're just very, except now that maybe tech is becoming a bit popular. But then they're like, very limited options. If you're going to science class, it's either you're becoming a doctor, engineer, or a nurse. I don't think we knew other other career paths. So, but it's interesting.
It's a
I hope
long
things improve.
class, but yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. It's not bad too as well. So
Oh, okay, that's nice. Okay, so today we're talking about creating a professional development plan. So for our audience, please, if you have any questions while she's talking, you can just drop it in the chat box. And at the end of her session, I'll take the questions and then she'll answer them. All right, go ahead, Mentor Veronica.
okay, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure coming here to, talk to mentees. I want to believe that they are here today and
Yeah.
they're going to be learning. If they're not here, there's going to be a replay. So if you know anyone from this video itself, please make sure that you join or send it to them, because like Queen said in the honestly, I was going to also talk about it before I go. So the EMP program is it's a short for Evolve Mentorship Program. It's usually for young girls between the ages of 18 and 35.
Yeah.
So if you know that would be interested in going into mentorship program, or if yourself you're interested in mentored, because we talked about career initially. Now opposed to mentorship, I was not. I just found my way along the line. But if you want to be trained and connected to mentors that would help you share their stories with you, you will also have programs. These ones are just external ones. They are internal ones that you are not exposed to as a non-mentee.
Yeah.
So reach out to the program coordinator. This is Queen. She's going to attend to you and that will go on from now on. So make sure you register and just get yourself mentored, because I am just glad to be part of this family. It's somewhere as a mentor I learn myself, to be honest. So whenever I get the opportunity to have speaking engagements, I do not think about it. And I'm also going to share stories about it in what we are going to be doing today. Like, just make sure you're developing yourself. And that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to be telling you how you can do it, but mentorship as one of the things in, especially as a young girl, make sure that you reach out to the program. It's just for a very small fee. I know that you might be thinking that, how do I? It might be very expensive.
We're not expensive.
So on that note, thank you so much for having me, and then we'll delve into today's topic.
Thank you for joining us.
Is creating a personal development plan. Before I go into any definition, I would like to start with why I feel that personal development should be taken seriously, and that's because change is something that is always very constant. So sometimes you think you develop yourself to an extent, and you're already perfect. You've gotten to that level where your personal development is top notch. Because of the changes that happen, you might not even know that you are already getting obsolete or getting outdated. You know how technology, right? You know how things are moving very fast now. You might not know that things have moved so fast and it has even gone beyond what you are now. And that's why I would like to make something that you always have to continually do. As an individual, honestly, we have our lives. You have your career, you have your relationships, you have every part of your life. So at one point or the other, you definitely have a need to improve yourself. You definitely have a need to always grow, a need to always build on something, so that and there's sometimes that you think that maybe something is your weakness, that you are weak in something. I'm going to avoid this, I'm not going to do it. But the truth is that you have not maximized that weakness. That's why you've not realized it to be a strength. Do you understand? So you're not a weakness per se. It's something that you need to still learn about, build yourself, and take action actually to improve on it. Not actually a weakness, it's actually, and I don't know when I should start sharing personal stories, but let's get further into the lecture before I start that. But honestly, personal development, you have to mention to you that it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be sudden. So there are some people that one week day. Let's give an example of I want to start let's I want to start, waking up early, getting to places early. Maybe I'm a and then let's just make that goal. And then you make action plans, you write it down, I want to do this, and then you start acting for just few days, and you expect changes all of a sudden. It doesn't happen all of a sudden. It's going to be it's going to be something you keep doing month after month, year after year, day after eventually consider it as something that you are now good at. So it's not going to be an so let's just put that disclaimer there. It's not going to be an easy at it. Honestly, you're going to be glad you did, because you would improve, and it's going to now become something good, that you help you understand. So before I define what personal development, then creating a personal development, what it is, I'll tell you some importance of what you would like, some things that you will gain when you are just have a guide here. So just in case I'm looking,
okay, that's fine.
You don't need from there. So some importance of personal, understand why you have to develop yourself, why you have to always grow. I explained, change is the number one thing. And my last, even on YouTube, I usually make videos on YouTube. I talk about times, and so sometimes when you met someone, let's say 10 years ago, right, and you now meet the person again, it's not the same. I feel like everything has changed about that. So you're not supposed to look at that person the same way you looked 10 years ago now, because a lot of things would have changed. So change is the only constant thing. So we talk about the first, we're going to gain the importance of having plan. The first thing you're going to gain is you're going to build your self-confidence, esteem. Now this is the part where I'm going to give you an example. Right, when I was growing up, I went to a boarding school throughout my secondary school. So every time we go home for a short break, long break, and we come back, right, a lot of people would usually have something to say about their holiday, how they watched this movie or that movie, and everybody will be talking, oh, have you watched this movie? Have you watched that movie? Did you read that book? Or they can talk about current affairs. Do you know that this governor is now this, is now that? And me, I'm just always at the background to realize that it's not even about being dull or not. It's not about not being able to talk or not being able to, talk. Because at that time in school, they will always say that I was very antisocial, even on my and then I realized that it's not because I don't know how to do these things, because I have not developed myself to the extent of me joining in those things. Because my colleagues that were coming back to talk about these things, they actually were doing it. While me, when I go on holidays, the only thing I'm doing is just go on summer lessons, just having lessons. I'm always going to class. From class, I come back home. Maybe it's only during the weekend that I get to play or so. I was not just knowledgeable in that area. So it wasn't as if I didn't know what I was doing or I didn't know about anything. I was not knowledgeable. And if I had built myself at that time, maybe if I got home and picked up a newspaper or I picked up a book, I probably would have been able to contribute to those things that they were talking about in school when I got back to school. So personal development that you think that you cannot do, but because you built yourself personally and you've developed yourself, you've read books, you've taken conscious action to develop yourself, now do those things. Thinking about importance of building your personal development, the importance. The first one that I mentioned, I said to improve your self-esteem, to improve your confidence. The second one is to boost relationships. So I talked about, I don't know if you heard the story of when I usually come back to school as a boarder. Yeah, so I would always think that maybe because I was not just fit for that setting, or I'm dull or something. That's why I'm not fit there. But the truth is that because I've not developed myself, I did not learn those things that they were learning during the holidays. I did not, watch the news. I did not read the newspaper. So when people are talking about current affairs, they're talking about the new governor, talking about the new notes, naira notes they introduced. I'm just looking. I don't know what to say. No, and honestly, it's not because I am dull. It's because I do not have that knowledge.
Yeah.
I have not built myself. So when I find myself now developing myself, when I am in that setting where they're talking about what I have learned, I will be able to say something. I'll be able to talk. I'll be able to contribute. So that's one importance of building yourself. Another one from my notes is self-awareness and self-discovery. And the truth is that sometimes you think that you've discovered yourself so much, but you've not. You think that you know yourself, but you've not. But when you take conscious effort to put down your strengths, put down your weaknesses, and compare them, how can you maximize my strengths? How can I build on my weaknesses? How can I make it better? Then you begin to discover yourself and say that, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I think I can do this, I think I can try this. But if you do not consciously develop yourself or track your progress on your weaknesses and strengths, yes, it's going to be difficult for you. And let me give an example of public speaking. This thing I'm doing now, and if I look at, let's say, few years back, if I should mount any podium like this, I'll just be praying, let the floor just open and swallow me, because when I'm in a gathering, I'm always just praying that let them not call me to come and say anything, because I just assumed that I could not do it. I can't talk outside. I can't. And the truth is that I have not developed myself in that area. That's why, I told you that anytime you reach out to me to have a program, I do not think about it. Although sometimes let me tell you my thought process. So initially when you come, I'm like, okay, say no, because
oh my God. But you would never know. Like, I would never pick that up.
Exactly. Because at some point I would still be fighting with that old self that you can't do it. What do you want to say? And all. But later I'll remind myself, why can't you do it? This is something that you've practiced over and over again. And I learned that when you do something over and over and over, you get better at it. To be very honest, this is something that has helped me. And you cannot discover this if you do not make plans, if you do not if you do not write down the things that you want to achieve, if you do not make goals, if you do not track your progress, you cannot know that these are the things that you're going to be good in. So this is going to help you exactly to discover yourself. So another major importance is increased satisfaction and your well-being. You increase, like you are in a better state than when you were before. Like you begin to now look at your old self and you're saying that, okay, this was me before, this is me now. I have worked on myself, I am satisfied, I am better now. And you're just, there's this measurement that you can track when you improve yourself. But if you don't, honestly, you might in most cases be on the same level in your personal development. So this is another thing that you can gain when you develop yourself. And I think I have one more here: adaptability and resilience. So you are more resilient. Is the noise coming from my end?
From my end, my kids are
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so
is it too much?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I just want to be sure that it's not affecting
No, it's
us.
not.
Okay. So another importance of building self-development is adaptability and resilience. So this is you having the mindset of growth having a mindset of growth rather than a fixed mindset. I'll talk about a book that I read.
Thank you.
I think I shared that post recently, and it's titled Mindset. And what the author was just trying to achieve was to differentiate between the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So the growth mindset is the mindset of, okay, whatever happens, I'll keep being resilient, I'll keep trying, I'll keep, you see situations differently from someone that has a fixed mindset. So when you have a fixed mindset, yes, you're just dwelling, like you are maybe dwelling in the past, you're not ready to move forward and all of that. So if you are always working on your personal development, you would always build that spirit of adaptability. You build the spirit of resilience, no matter what happens. Sometimes people think that I just come out and talk about rejection, I talk about personal growth, I talk about, and they feel like I do not like my own self experience rejection. And even I think I should share this particular experience I had just some weeks ago. It's just in this month. I was like, okay, let me try and go for it. I had 2 major appointments. I was like, okay, if I go for one should work out. If I go for, because I'd made the applications almost the same time, and so they came. So I was like, initially I was like, why I don't feel like going, because it's very far. It's a place that is far from me. I would have to go by train, I would have to book accommodation, I would have to spend some money, do all of that. I'm like, okay, let me just go. And then guess what? I went, and those 2, as in the 2 of them, they were like, it was like a rejection from the 2 sides, the 2 ends.
Wow.
And honestly, I'm like, okay, it hits me at that point. I'm like, okay, I would not because of that stop applying. I will not because of that, So sometimes I'm just saying this so that sometimes when we talk about these things, we do not experience it ourselves. So if you have developed yourself to an extent, you would be able to become like, build a resilience mindset and build a growth mindset, because there are 2 different things between growth and fixed mindset. So you have to move from, if you know that you do not take situations and you do not learn from situations and you do not move on from situations, then you're probably still battling with the fixed mindset. So you have to build a growth mindset. This is the kind of mindset that you say, in whatever situation we move,
we keep going.
I'm not going to be stuck here. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep advancing. And that's the importance of you having a personal development plan. So I think I have kind of now laid the basics for why you need to have or grow a personal development or have a personal development plan. And I think I will now define what personal development is and personal development plan. It's a very simple one, so I'm not going to bore you with a whole lot of definition. But personal development is just the act of you deciding to improve on yourself. Like, this is you before. This is, let's just look at it in, let's say, a journey. This is you here before, and this is where you want to be. Okay, there is a distance in between. That distance, bridging that gap, is you engaging in personal development. So you want to move from where you were before, and you want to get to a particular place where you are aiming at. That's personal development. And for you to get there, you have to have a plan, and that plan is like a roadmap, is like a strategy, is like what you want to put together or do to achieve it. I remember the meeting we had with the mentees, I think 2 weeks ago, I can't remember, about goal setting and action planning. Yeah, it's a similar one too. And then I shared how you can achieve whatever it is, whatever goal it is that you set by acting on it. So you cannot just say that I have this goal, I have that goal without planning, right? Without action, without acting. So you also have to act. And this also works for personal development as well. So if you find yourself on this call, or if you find yourself watching this video after now, I'm going to be taking you through how you can achieve personal development. And let me tell you, this, you can achieve this in any phase, like any part of your life. It can be relationship, it can be personal, it can be anything. You can work on improving yourself in that area, and you get to that point. So that's why I said that you have to that's why I brought in planning. You have to actually plan. Sometimes you just want to, and there's this general mentality. Say, okay, let's just say that you want to make a plan, and you're just saying that I want to succeed. Maybe that's your plan. I want to succeed. You want to, as in, how do you want to break it down so that everybody will understand that? You can't just say I want to succeed.
It's all in our head.
Exactly. Honestly, journaling is something that has also helped me. I have a journal here. I also have this small book where I'm able to write my ideas. I'm able to also like put down things that I want to do, so that you do not just just think of it. I also have notes that I write. I have notes on my phone. So if you have your phone notes, you can also write things down. This is what I want to do. This is where I am. This is what I want to do. And that's what we are going to be talking about. So let's go into because I've talked about a lot of things. So let's talk about how. So the first, I think I have about 7 points here, so I'll just be picking the points and I'll be explaining to you. But before that, what are the purposes? What's the purpose? Why? I know I've talked about importance, but purpose also is something that we should talk about when we are talking about personal development plan. And the first purpose, what personal development plan hopes to achieve is goal clarity. Your goal, you begin to get clear on your goal. So when you write down your goal and then you're like, okay, this is what I want to achieve and this is how I want to achieve it, you get clear, it gets clearer along the line. So let me use the example of my YouTube channel. I started my YouTube, I don't know why I like giving this example, but honestly it's something that would help you, and it's going to summarize everything we are going to be talking about. So I started my YouTube channel. I became very active in January, I think. I started, and then I began to struggle at some point, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to post. Sometimes I post, sometimes I don't post. Sometimes I get this idea of how many people are even watching, who are the people seeing it, nobody is seeing it, and all of that. And then I started to write down things I wanted to achieve from making videos and talking to people and relating with people. I started to write it down because then it was just all in my head. I wasn't very sure what it was going to do. So when I wrote it down, I began to now see the reason why I needed to continue. And then I saw that it was because it was difficult for me. I needed to act. What can I do to be consistent? And then I joined an accountability group. We're also going to talk about that. There are ways in which you set goals and you also work on acting, because sometimes you might not be able to achieve it on your own. But I joined an accountability group where if you do not post every week, you would be sanctioned. You'd have to state why and explain, right? So I find myself, I don't even want to wait till when I'm till the end of the week when it's time for me to post. I find myself already thinking about ideas and putting ideas together and putting out videos. So since then, I've been consistent. So these things do not happen. It doesn't happen overnight, right? It makes your goal clearer and it makes things easier for you when you plan. Right. So another point I have here is accountability and motivation, which I've already talked about. You are more motivated to continue when you have a goal, when you have a plan, when you have a roadmap. So don't say, this is what I want to achieve. How do you want to achieve it? How do you want to do it? Okay. How do you want to save if you want to save? How do you want to start getting to your workplace early? Or if it's people that want to start be more closer to God as a Christian, I want to improve on my spiritual life. How do you want to do it? Do you want to join a group of people, a group of Bible study sisters that would encourage you, that would motivate you? So it helps you to be more motivated and accountable when you engage in personal development. I think the last one is reflection and progress management. You're able to look back and track your progress. That's another purpose. So let's talk about how. The first thing I have here is to identify your goals. So do not create vague goals. And what I mean by vague is that do not generalize. Make specific goals. That's the first way that you can build on your self-development. Make specific goals. Do not generalize. Not just make general goals and say that I just want to succeed. I just want to make it. I just want to excel. Right? How do you want to excel in your field? Do you have to take professional exams? Do you have to take courses? Do you have to do one or two things? What are the things that you have to do so that you can achieve your goal? So the first thing is to make specific goals. And I remember also talking about SMART when we were talking about action planning and goal setting. Yes, so the first one, SMART goals, is specific, measurable, achievable, reliable, and time-bound. So these are what will guide you when you're making your plans. And I think another one is to conduct self-assessment. Okay, so self-assessment, there are different ways of conducting self-assessment, right? You've already made your goal. You know that, okay, let me take an example of, yes, I want to work on my public speaking skills. That's my goal. Because it's specific. It's not like I'm saying that I want to become better in my every area of my life. They are saying that you want to become better in public speaking. So now, if you want to assess yourself in public speaking, where are you now? How many times do you talk to people? How do you relate with people? How is your communication skills? And then how do you want to become, or who are you looking up to become in the nearest future? So you kind of take that assessment. And one major way to assess yourself is by using the SWOT analysis. We all know what is SWOT. I'm not sure, but SWOT analysis, if you do not know what SWOT analysis means, SWOT analysis means your strengths is like an acronym, your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities and threats. So SWOT analysis is one major way that you can assess yourself. So what are your strengths? I know your strengths are things that you find yourself doing without any issues, like it comes by easily for you. And then you look at what are your weaknesses. If public speaking is like something you want to achieve, that's probably your weakness at that point. So you're looking for a way to make that or convert that into a strength. So there are opportunities. What are the things that you have around you that can help you to achieve your goal? Like what fair advantage do you have that you can use to achieve your goal? So also threats, what are the things that might hinder you? So you have to keep track of all of these things. If you do this self-analysis, you'll be able to know what you are fighting against, what you are going to use as a tool to achieving your goal. So now, if your goal now is to become a better public speaker, what are the things that you can do to make this work, to make it better? You can say that, okay, I'm not going to shy away from any speaking engagement. I'm going to volunteer to, take up speaking engagements and all of that. So if you know that this is your goal, and then you do your assessment, right? Know your strength, know your weakness, and put all of those things together, it's going to be easier for you to develop yourself in that area, if you understand what I mean.
Sure.
So another thing is to create an action plan. So now you've already determined what your goal is, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, you know what your threats are. How can you create an action plan, right? So do you want to take courses in public speaking? Do you want to talk to people, maybe mentors, coach, and tell them that this is what I am struggling with and I need help with it? How can you make me accountable? How can you make me work on it? How can I grow in this area? Or you can tell them that, okay, I know what I want to do. I want to take a course, but I need to be accountable. I want you to check up once in a while and, put me up for speaking engagements. These are action plans. So you cannot just make a goal and not do anything. I'm going to share a very simple, at the end of this video, I'm going to share a very simple story about action planning, a goal that I wanted to achieve and how I was able to achieve it. I'm going to share it. So if you just make a goal, even if you write it down, if you do not take action, to be honest, you are not going to move from where you are and get to where you want to get to. Right? So you have to take action. So number one, when you make specific goals. Number two, when you make assessments, what are your weaknesses, strengths? There are other ways that you can actually make assessments. You can take online tests and determine, okay, how can I improve in this particular thing, improve in that? There are a whole lot of ways to just find the assessment that works for you. But the major one is the SWOT analysis. And then you now take action plan. Honestly, when you do this, it's going to even be much more easier for you. And another thing, like I mentioned earlier, is that it's not going to happen overnight. So even when you start taking action, don't expect that you're going to get to the level of public, like when you see people talking outside and taking a lot of engagements, you might not get to that particular stage immediately, but you keep growing. Exactly. So it's just a means of starting from somewhere and then growing and getting to your destination. So another point I have here now is it helps you to seek accountability. So we are talking about how you can build your personal development plan. It helps you to be accountable. So by the time you start taking action now, like I mentioned, when I was struggling with my YouTube, I had to join an accountability group, and that was how I was able to become consistent, because I saw that I could not do it on my own anymore. Like I was struggling. I was like, I had to join a group, and that group helped me because I must always post every week. They will check. Everybody is just accountable. So it helps you with accountability when you make specific goals and then you start making plans. You reach out to people, trusted people, of course. Reach out to trusted people that can help you to be accountable. That's what planning, personal development planning, helps you to do. And then I think I have another one, and the sixth and seventh one will be, yeah, they're very similar. So it's going to be track your progress and then review, reflect. By the time you take action, the last thing that personal development planning will help you to do is to track your progress. It will help you to look back and say, okay, how far have I come? What else do I need to do? What else do I need to improve on? So it will help you to keep growing, to help you to keep reflecting. So when you reflect on you already have, let's say you have your notes where you put down what you want to achieve and what you want to do to achieve it, and then you come back occasionally to check how far have I come, or how can I become better. It helps you to reflect and then to now know what else to do from there if you are making progress. And if you're not making progress, you probably have to change your plans. You probably have to now determine what else can I do to make this better. So action planning is a process. It starts from making specific goals and then taking action and then reflecting, being accountable, and then achieving your goal. That's all on it's like a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. That's why I keep saying it over and over again. So yeah, I think yes, those are all of my points from up to when you now reflect. When you reflect and you see that you become better, then you can just continue with that plan. But if not, you have to revisit your drawing board and then change your plans, and then yes. But I think I have it. I said I was going to share a story at the end of this so that so that it will show you how being accountable and taking action works. And this is as simple as what I'm going to say. So I'm going to say that sometimes these specific goals are not even maybe to go for my master's, to get this particular big thing. It can be as little as drinking water. So let me give you the example. I attended a program. An online program. So it was more like a gospel, more like a Bible study. But they invited a health practitioner. So she was supposed to talk about how your health is your greatest asset, how your body is the temple of God. And so she was giving us all of that and telling us things that sometimes it's not even about the big things, about the little things. How often do you brush and all of that? And she was talking about the required liters of water that you have to take every day, and she said it should be between 2,500 milliliters, and that should be 2.5 liters. And honestly, drinking water has always been a problem for me, right from I already knew, like right from time. And then on that meeting, I started telling myself that this is something I have to work on. Although that day, after that meeting, I didn't take any major step. I'll just be like, and I said I want to drink water. I did not drink enough water today. But I noticed that, okay, if I do not plan, like if I do not do something that will make me to keep drinking water, I will not change. So guess what? I had to now go and look for a big bottle. I'm going to show you. This bottle, I had to go and get it, and it's about 2,000 milliliters of water. So I have to get that bottle, and that's close to the required so, exactly. So that's 2,500. And you know, because it's a fancy one now, sometimes even when I don't feel like, I just open it. I'm drinking it, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying, and unknowingly I am meeting the requirements. I'm meeting the daily requirements. Sometimes I do not have to refill it. Sometimes I have to. Sometimes I don't even finish it. And like that, I've been able to achieve that goal of drinking water. So sometimes, and honestly, it was because I attended that meeting where she nudged us and said, okay, this goal is very important. So sometimes you need an accountable person that will remind you of the goals that you want to achieve, and then you need to take action. If you do not take action, honestly, your goals, you should just be there. Even if you write it, it should just be there. You won't achieve much. You won't move forward from where you were up to where you want to become. So I just decided to share that particular story. And I also remember that sometimes we feel that because we feel that maybe we don't have enough resources to achieve our goals. Sometimes what you need is already around you, is already within you, but you do not know. And until you make that plan, until you make the assessments, that SWOT analysis, you will not know. I'm going to share another story about how sometimes you might think that resources is a barrier for you achieving your goals. You think that, okay, this course I want to take, it's so expensive, I don't want to, or maybe I do not have, I'm on a budget, I don't have money, I don't do this, sometimes what you need is already around you. When I think in my final year, I started noticing that I was struggling financially, and then I needed to just start something that will make me, that will make me not to focus more on school and not be, diverted by my financial struggles and all of that. And then I just got home one day and I was like, okay, I saw a printer at home. I saw it at home and I was like, okay, this printer, I can actually take it to school and, make a business out of it. I didn't have to spend any money to get it. So I'm just diverting from making goals and then complaining that you do not have resources to achieve that goals. Sometimes there are other ways or other easier methods that you can use to achieve your goals. And so I saw that printer at home. I picked it up. So that's a resource that I did not know before that I could make use of. But because I needed that thing, I needed to get buoyant so that I can focus more on school. I picked it and I took it to school, and it helped me a lot, honestly. So sometimes you think that, I need so much, I need a lot of resources. But the truth is that what you need is already within you. Sometimes if you check well, you can start with what you have. If you feel that, okay, I want to build on I want to take a professional exams, and you do not have the money yet, you do not have the resource yet, you can start with free online courses. You can go online, you can check and get free courses. And there are courses that even sometimes when you go through the free version, you necessarily do not have to go through a paid version, because you get the knowledge. YouTube is there already. Yes, YouTube is there already. YouTube is a major platform that I know that just by searching, just by typing what you want.
I think everything is on YouTube, honestly.
Exactly. So don't complain. Don't complain that you do not have the resources. What you need is already around. You can start with whatever you have, whatever goal it is you want to achieve. You can start with whatever you have. You can just get what you want to get by searching around, searching online, asking questions. And there are some people. No problem. Some people are looking for big mentors, like people that they feel like, no, if I want to go for mentorship now, I have to pay. But there's that person around you that you can talk to, that you can start with even before you can access big mentorship programs. So do not complain about resources. Resources might be a barrier, but you can start with what you have first, and then you build from there. So I think I have come to the end of my presentation. I want to now take questions, but trust me, if you have any goal that you have set, if you do not assess yourself, check your strengths, check your weaknesses, check your skills, check how you want to combine all of these factors and take action, then your goal will just remain a goal. It will just remain something you've written down somewhere, and sometimes you might just even forget about it. But if you take action, then I'm sure that you would be able to move from the point where you are now to the point where you are going. So personal development is something that is continuous. It's continuous. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep doing it, because change is something that is constant. It would always, you might just, so that you do not get obsolete, so that you do not get to the point where you are just outdated and you might not even know. So keep building on yourself, keep working on yourself, and I'm sure, I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to, communicate some points to you. I may not necessarily convince you, but hopefully you get to realize that personal development is a major one. It's a major one, and you have to keep working on it. Do what it takes. Do what it takes to improve yourself. You might look at how big it is. Some of us have big goals, big plans, and all. But start from where you are. Start bit by bit. Before you know it, you're already there. So, let me know if you have any more questions.
So first off, I just want to say thank you. You raised some very important points. But I think what stood out for me was when you said what we need to achieve what we want to do. We already have it. I think it's just that most times our mindsets are just closed off, and that's why we even refuse to see the opportunities around us. But when you have the mindset that it is possible,
Yes.
somehow you see the opportunities begin to open up for you. You begin to notice those things that you have missed, just like you
Exactly.
missed the printer, and then you realize, oh, this is something that can help
I
me,
can
right?
use. I didn't have to
Yes, but
spend
it has been
anything.
there all along.
And I didn't even notice.
And you didn't notice. So yes, we have a question. Is okay, comment. She said, Irene, day one, hit the ground running. Day two, keep running. Yes, so don't stop running. No, I get that. So I think for me, the question I would like to ask you is, oh, I'm trying to use the torchlight. Sorry,
Okay, no
Nigerian
problem.
NEPA has done their thing. But I hope you can still see me. At least you can still see my eyeballs.
I can see you.
Okay, so when you are doing your personal development growth, like when you're doing your personal development plan rather,
Yeah.
do you do them all together? Let's say relationship, work, career,
Yeah.
things like, or studies. Do you do them together, or are they like separate aspects of your life, and then you have to do like a goal or a plan for each of them? Is it something you do at once,
Oh, okay.
or is something that you have to do separately?
Okay, so before I answer that question, I'll say that different strokes for different folks, right? So whatever I do might not necessarily apply to someone else. So make sure that you find what works for you. Make sure that you try out different things and see what works. But for me, what works for me is that I do them separately. I do not combine all of my goals together. Like I have separate goals and I have separate action plan. I have separate assessments
Okay.
for them because honestly, your strengths and your weaknesses are totally different things. So sometimes when you are dealing with strength, if you have a goal that you are strong, like it's your strength and you want to achieve that goal. For example, if it's like someone like me now that I am already comfortable with writing professional exams and I say, okay, this is another exam I want to pick up and write it. It might be easier for me already because I have experience in writing that exam. I've written some before. So
Yeah.
making plans might be very, very different from someone that it's new to. Or if it's a weakness that I know that, oh, I'm not used to it and I really need to get accountable with it. I really need help. I need probably a mentor. It's going to be totally different. So I separate them because they are two different things. So make sure that you find what works for you. Some people are able to put all of them together. Some people are able to make plans together. Some people are able to combine a lot of things. But for me, I make sure that I separate them and I work on them based on what I think it is. Is it my strength? Is it my weakness? What opportunities do I have? What skills do I have to back it up? And then another thing I like to say at this point is that as individuals, right, we are all, I think I've mentioned it already, we all have our different, how will I put it? We have our different strengths, we have our different
Yeah.
weaknesses. So make sure that you're working in that line. Do not deceive yourself. That's what I was going to also put into it. Do not be true to yourself. Don't say that because yeah, when you're making plans, know that okay, this is actually my weakness. Even if you're not telling it to someone else, write it down. I struggle with this, I struggle with that, or this. Be sincere. That's just what I want to say. Be
With
sincere while you're making plans
yourself, at
with
least.
yourself. Even before you take it out to other people to help you, be sincere that this I know that I need help here. I know that I do not need help here. I know that I struggle here. Just be sincere
Yeah.
with yourself. It will help you because if you're deceiving yourself and you're saying that I should be able to achieve this one on my own, is it not just to read? Is it not just to get materials? Meanwhile, you know that you might necessarily need to get a tutor to teach you because you're not able to assimilate probably when you are on your own. You prefer to read
Yeah.
group. Do you understand? So be sincere with yourself in whatever you're doing and make sure that you do what works for you. So I think that should answer your question.
Yeah. So it's not a one size fits all. You have to just
Yes.
find out
Find
what
what
works
works
for
for you.
you and stick
Exactly.
to it. We have a comment. I totally agree. It is very difficult to set a goal and keep to it. Nice talk, really enjoyable. Thank you, Smart Nemo 25.
Thank
Hope
you,
I didn't butcher your name.
Smart.
Okay, I want you to like, what is the one thing that you have learned on
Yeah.
your personal development journey? What is this one thing you have learned that you would want someone that is just starting out to bear in mind as they've listened to you now and they say, okay, let me plan how I want to grow myself, I want to develop myself. What is the one thing you have learned on your journey that you feel people should know?
Okay, so I would say that I've learned a lot of things, honestly. But if there's one thing I want people to know, is that if you put your mind into something, you can achieve it. Honestly,
Period.
if
I
honestly,
agree.
if I do not say anything again, I feel like that should be enough. If you put your mind into something, you can definitely achieve it. But if you don't, if you do not put action into it, you are not going to. It's going to be more difficult. Let me just put it like that. So,
Okay.
for example, I shared that one of my weaknesses was, coming out to speak, coming out to share my mind, being myself around people, just coming out and being myself generally.
Yeah.
And then at some point in life, I thought that maybe it's just me. Like, it's not something I can do. That's just, even while we were young, most time people will say, she's the shy one, she's shy. Like, everybody has just made that conclusion. But honestly, I just wanted to work on it. Like, I wanted to work on it. I wanted to do things that would make me come out from that. And I started consciously, I would volunteer. I would make sure that I come outside to do. See, fear is something that can really, that can make you not achieve what you want to achieve. So please take out fear. Take out fear from whatever it is that you are doing. And always, like this, I told you that sometimes when Queen comes to you to come and talk, I get to battle. There's this battle I have. I'm like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I do it? But whatever you put your mind into, and I've experienced it in every facet of my life. There are a lot of things that I've achieved that I never ever thought that I could have achieved this. And that was because I had to act. I had to like do the work, right? But as long as you believe that whatever it is that you put your mind into, you can achieve it. Honestly, it might take long, it might take a while, but you will eventually achieve it. So please keep doing what you're doing, keep working, keep putting in the work, and you'll see the results eventually.
Yes, I absolutely agree, and I would say I don't think I ever pictured you as shy because because the way you never hesitate. Oh my God, like I'm always sure that if there's one mentor I can reach out to and say on the jump, Mentor Veronica, please come and join me. Even if you give her like a day notice, and it's something that I really always appreciate because it's not easy to drop all that you're doing. You get to just take
Yeah,
on something,
yeah,
but your dedication, and then when you come, you always deliver. So I would say you are a good example of, personally going for what you want and developing yourself in an
exactly.
area that you view as a weakness. So yes. And then she has an amazing YouTube channel. I don't know if you want to direct them to your YouTube channel
Eh,
before we go.
okay, yes. You can check up my YouTube channel. If you go to my page, I have a link on my bio, and also you can just search Veronica Adeusi, Veronica Adeusi, Adausi on
We'll tag
YouTube.
her in this replay so that you can get
Ah,
to her. Yeah.
yes. So you can just check me up on YouTube. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Mentor Veronica. I always enjoy our talk as always. Thank you for always bringing value. So for everyone who joined, thank you so much. We appreciate. This is the Evolve Mentorship Program, like we said. If you want to keep hearing from amazing mentors like Mentor Veronica, in-house, because we rarely have them online except
Yes.
on this Ask a Mentor session,
Yes.
just chat us up, send us a DM and say, oh, I would like to join the Evolve Mentorship Program. And PS, it's for only women. I'm
Yeah.
sorry guys, you have to go and look for your own program. So my name is Queen. Thank you for another amazing episode of Ask a Mentor. Until we see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye everyone. Thank you, Mentor
Bye.
Veronica. Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
having me. Bye. Thank you
Bye.
everyone for joining. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.